The following content is rated B for biblical.
Abaya, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll start off first with Matthew 15 and 24, right? In Matthew 15 and 24, and it's important to start with Christ's words. So Christ says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So we can't have a scenario where Christ, who's the authority under the Most High, saying he's sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel to,
by the way, fair use.
to not say his disciples came and changed that, or that it was changed.
So already he, and I know we just got into it, but he said something that was interesting, even in his presentation. So first he goes to the very infamous Matthew 15:24. If you've been dealing with Hebrew Israelites for any amount of time, this is one of the main go-to verses that they go to. They always go to Matthew 15:24. And I don't know if Mike Holloway actually explains what Matthew 15:24 actually says. Because again, I only watched a little bit of this. I watched some of this I watched a little bit this morning, but I want to kind of come on and so we can all have an authentic reaction together. But I don't know if Mike Holloway actually talks about this, but even his opening statement, he says, if Christ said one thing, then disciples would come and change it. Well, again, that's a premise that you're basing that off of. Again, if Jesus tells his disciples in Matthew 28 to go share the gospel through all nations, Mark even puts it very simplistically and says, go share the gospel with every creature, then the disciples aren't changing anything because this is something that Christ himself tell them to go do. So again, Captain Tazaryach is on this premise that Jesus only told the disciples to go to Israel. But then here where it gets tricky, right? And we're going to see a little bit this when Captain Tazaryach talks about Jesus and Paul, right? In Paul's ministry. If that were the case, right, if Captain Tazaryach's premise was true that Jesus only went to Israel, right? He only went to Israel, and since Jesus only said to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, as he's trying to prove text with Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, and he's saying, well, if Jesus said to only go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the disciples shouldn't come in and change it. But then we have countless records within the New Testament that Jesus is going to Gentiles. That he's constantly going to Gentiles. We have the Syrophoenician woman in the very chapter that Captain Tazaryach quotes. In the very chapter that Captain Tazaryach quotes in Matthew chapter 15. And if you really want to know that this was a Syrophoenician woman, you can go to Luke chapter 7. In Matthew 15 and Luke chapter 7, the Bible makes it clear that this was a Syrophoenician. This was a Gentile. So in the midst of Captain Tazaryach trying to say how salvation isn't for Israel and saying how Jesus didn't go to Gentiles, but the disciples somehow changed it and say we can go to Gentiles, Jesus is literally speaking to a Gentile in the very verse that he's quoting. And again, I don't know if Pastor Mike Holloway makes this point, but it's so bad, and this is why context is so important. Right? And so let's keep going. I don't want us to stop anywhere, but let's keep going.